Welcome to this episode of the Profitable Home Services Podcast. This is the podcast where we dig deep into your profits and into the cash flow leaks of your business. We're so glad you could join us today. Our guest on this episode is Dave Negri. And in total transparency, Dave and I have known each other for, 10, 15 years, something like that, long time. We met in a mastermind group, and Dave is going to be sharing some amazing hidden profit leaks with us today. But before we go there, let me tell you just a little bit about Dave. Dave is the founder of the Contractor Secret Weapon and the co-founder of Thriving Christian Business Podcast. His marketing podcast is unlike anything available elsewhere to contractors. He talks with marketing specialists across the board who give them concrete tips directly related towards the trades. Some of the topics they cover include marketing, sales cycles, pricing, positioning, branding, and more. Dave believes that good marketing is the key to having a profitable business. Dave has been a painting contractor and entrepreneur for the last 28 years, successfully starting and growing service-based businesses like his Elite Home and Property Services Company, which is in Clearwater, Florida. Through hard work and marketing knowledge, Dave has been able to step out of the day-to-day operations of this business to focus on helping other contractors grow their businesses and succeed, as he has in 2001 when he put his painting business aside due to the boom of the real estate market, which hit Florida like a hurricane. He focused on buying and selling houses for the next 5 years, successfully flipping over 55 homes. Oh my goodness, Dave. He attributes his success at this endeavor entirely to his knowledge and background in marketing, which allowed him to first find lots of sellers who would sell cheap and then buyers who wanted to buy high. So with all that information, Dave, welcome to the Profitable Home Services Podcast.
Well, thanks. This is going to be fun. It's been a while since I've done this, so.
It'll come back. It's just like riding a bicycle, right?
It really is. It really is. I mean, everything was flowing back, and it's kind of fun. It really is.
Well, we were talking a little bit before we went live on the podcast, just kind of catching up because we hadn't talked for a couple of years. And we happened to land on the subject of fear. Let's talk a little bit about how fear can have a huge profit factor in a business or a lack of profit in a business, all based on what's going up here in our heads.
So fear, we don't really think about it as fear, but I have gone through that myself where, okay, I've got jobs coming in, but what do I do if I have too many jobs coming in? And that's after, so you don't want to do these jobs. Most people won't call people back, which is kind of dumb to begin with, but I don't know why they, it's money in your pocket maybe 3 weeks from now. So even if I was busy now and I had jobs coming up and I was 2 or 3 weeks out, I would call them back. And I'd say, hey, I am super busy. How do you need this done right away? Because I'm 3 weeks out. And most of the time, a lot of times they would say, well, I can wait. I have a painter that subs from me now. He's 6, 8, 10 weeks out all the time. And he's been doing this for 25 years. So he said, the only people that I really have to move on are my realtors. So I will put somebody, back a little farther because they're trying to sell a house. But most people will hold off. But if they won't, so what? Sub it out. Mm-hmm. Find somebody in your marketplace that you can work with, and you say, okay, I'm going to sell you this customer for X, or you do the proposal and you put whatever you want to make in there and you give it to them. I mean, that's free money that you're throwing away.
It is. And you didn't have to go hire another person on the off chance that you were going to be too busy to handle the work you have coming in.
Right.
And then wondering how you're going to keep that person busy.
Right. So the other day I had one of my customers call me It's been 4 years. So the last time we pressure cleaned her house, we cleaned her roof, we did everything around the house, and I don't do that anymore. But I have a guy that when I stopped doing the pressure cleaning and roof cleaning, I brought him along, and he's really good. He's very reasonable. I said, give me your price sheet. So I sell it. Actually, I sell it for him, and because I think he's a little too low, I give him an extra like 10%. And then I mark it up 25. And
So it's a
everybody's
win-win.
happy.
Yeah.
You know, the customer's happy because she's getting what she got the last time. He's happy because he's making money. I'm happy because I just had to take a phone call. And so, yeah, I mean, that's really free money. So if you can do that with different things, you know, something you don't do, find out. You know, I have a guy that does drywall, I have a guy that does pressure cleaning, I have a guy that does painting, and I'm working on handyman stuff now. So I'm doing that until I hire someone that I can train to do that, and then I'll hire another one and hire another one, and basically just back out. But I even got another guy for that stuff that it's too small for me. I just call him and I go, hey, here's the person. I don't even charge him. He's a friend. So I say, here, just go and give these people a call and see what they want. So they'll call me the next time because they'll forget all about him because he'll never follow up. He'll just go do the job and say thank you.
So how does fear land itself in the middle of this hustle and bustle of keeping all these jobs going? I got to be at this job by this time and this job by this time. And oh no, one of my guys didn't show up. How does fear wiggle its way in there and start creating havoc?
Well, it creates havoc because we allow it to happen. You know, it's like this morning, I had a guy that was coming to do a job for me. He couldn't show up. And I had other things to do. So I just called the homeowner. I said, hey, I got a little backed up today. Can I come tomorrow? Yeah, sure, no problem. It's one of the biggest challenges is that we allow circumstances to control our lives instead of us controlling our circumstances.
You bet. And
So I
that
remember, yeah,
more often than we think it really does.
yeah. So I mean, there's not a whole lot that I can control, but what I can, I will.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so but the fear thing is just an ongoing thing. It's something that, you know, can I do this? Yes, you can, or you wouldn't be where you are. Should I do this? I don't know. It's up to you. Am I going to lose money? Hopefully not, if you do it right.
Do you find that sometimes there's some scarcity mindset that starts creeping its way in with the fear?
You mean scarcity of business?
Scarcity, either I can't find enough help. There aren't any good people out there to work with me. Those kinds of things. I got all these jobs trying to come in here, and I don't have enough help here. And that scarcity mindset starts.
That goes back to mindset.
Yeah.
You know, it really does. So we'll go back to my plumber friend. He says, you know, I can't find people. I said, well, you got two. Well, I need more. I said, so get more business. He said, but there's not enough people to work. I said, stop. How many of your people in the plumbing business have more than 30 employees? I said, I can count them on one hand. I said, so what's your problem? I said, I got a friend of ours that's a roofer. He has 180 employees.
Wow.
And I says, why do you think he has 180 employees? Because there's no help around? He goes, you know, and it's like, since it's family, they don't listen to you anyways. I says, I said, you have to become the person that attracts those people. So you have to change your mindset on, I am not Bob the plumber, I am Bob the business owner. what do I need to do to become Bob the business owner instead of Bob the plumber? And
Or even
it's
better, Bob, the CEO.
right, yeah.
Up it up
And
one
so
more step. Now I'm
up it up
CEO
one
of
more,
this
yeah,
organization.
up it up one more step. Yeah, it's kind of interesting on how, and I heard it as an, it's like one of those things, but you've never really learned to concrete. You can't move into the next level until you become that person.
You bet. Yes. It takes
So
different skills to hit that level than the level you're on right now.
yeah, so okay, I am where I'm at, and there's nothing wrong with where I'm at, whoever you are, as long as you're satisfied. If you're
Mhm.
not satisfied, then it's time to figure out what do I need to do to move on to that. And I found this. There's a dissatisfaction quotient. If you're not dissatisfied at a level 10, you ain't moving.
Right?
To wherever it is.
Mhm.
Forward, backward, and I've had people say, "Well, I'm dissatisfied where I am. I'm going to go back," and I said, well, "That's fine if you can live with that, because you had this." Or and a lot of times I'll just tell people, "Go get a job. It's easier." It's not, but it is. For that person with the mindset, and it is. It's not. Being in business is not for the faint at heart. It's
Not at all. It's hard.
It is hard. There's lots of times where you'll work till ungodly hours to get things done because they need to get done, and there's no overtime. There's satisfaction. Sometimes the satisfaction takes the place of the money. The money always comes
Yep.
in time, but it's like here's one of the things I heard the other day. It said Elon Musk spent years creating systems. Systems never pay. It's always what comes after into the systems that makes. So he was at the verge of bankruptcy when he got his first government contract because he put all his systems and stuff together, but he had nothing to put them into.
Mhm.
And he was like
Couldn't
one
move
day,
forward without him,
yeah,
though.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So it's seeing the dream, going after, you know, what you want, and if you can't figure out what you do want, figure out what you don't want, and stay far away from that.
Mhm. I think sometimes we get comfortable where we are and we're afraid to reach for that next level. And that starts taking a toll on your profit margin because you
No,
might
that's
be a little fat and heavy on the team side of things. It's time to move to the next level, but you're almost afraid to step off that cliff and go for it
yeah.
because it's going to take some new skills. It might mean working some longer hours again as you make this next transition up. And I think sometimes our own heads get in the way of our progress and ultimately get in the way of our profit margins.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that as we grow our businesses, and there again, our mindset and the words we use make all the difference in the world.
Hmm.
So is this employee an expense or are they an investment in my company? Because it depends on how you look at it. If it's an investment in my company, then you're looking forward to growing. If it's an expense, then don't even hire him because he's not worth the money you're paying.
No. And if they're investment, you're going to take good care of them. You're going to invest some training time into them.
Yeah.
You're going to build out your mission, your vision, your core values. You're going to do those things so that that employee or that team member, they now graduated from the word employee, that team member
Yeah.
is now an integral part of your business and your own mindset has shifted and you're no longer herding a bunch of cats, i.e. employees. You
Right.
have team members who are all working together as a well-oiled machine. That's a complete total mindset shift.
Oh, it is because you're trying to build a team. But I think, in the beginning, and I don't know how long and each person is different. I don't know how long it'll take you, the business owner, to come to the realization that, I know this is hard and cruel, but you're just a high paid employee of your business until you can walk away from it and get
Yes,
paid.
until it can run without you.
And that's should be the whole purpose of business. But I think when we go into business, we don't look at these things. We just look at, okay, I need to make X so I can make my house payment, my car payment, and feed my kids. And I understand that. I have been there. I have copied people's prices to get started, because when I didn't know anything, to figure out that I wasn't making any money, so they can't. But I copied their prices instead of figuring out what mine were or should be.
And making sure you had the appropriate markup in there to cover all of your costs and still give you some profit out of it.
Well, yeah. One of the most intriguing things that I ever heard when I was in coaching was, we were talking about break even. So does anybody know what the break even is? And well, I said, yeah. He says, okay, now go to, what's your break even plus profit? And they go, ooh, that's a new one.
That's a concept they hadn't thought too much about.
No.
Right.
So
yes.
I'm an avid reader. I don't know how many hundreds of books I've read. And I'm a firm believer in paying for information, more so now than I ever have been. But it takes time to grow into those things. So if you have someone that'll coach you, or if you have someone who will mentor you, then by all means take the time to do that, because you will grow so much faster by doing that than you will by trial and error. And there are a lot of groups out there, Facebook groups and stuff like that. 90% of the people in there are not going to give you good advice to grow.
No.
Yeah.
In one of my last coaching group sessions, we gave break even point a different name. We're calling it the monthly net. Do you know how much your monthly net is that you have got to crack every single month?
Yeah.
And then from there, we in this particular group, we've determined what their net profit percentage is going to be. So now we can take this monthly net number, add to it the appropriate amount that we want for net profit.
Yeah.
And then that we'll be able to reverse engineer what their top line margin or what their top line revenue has to be. And that was a very eye-opening exercise to go through with them, because nobody had ever had them stop and do the calculations of what is the monthly net you have to get every single month.
That's the crux of really your whole business. If you don't know that, then heaven help you.
Well, you don't even know what target you're trying to hit if you don't know what that number, that magic number is. And then we can circle right back around to fear and mindset start setting in. I can't do this. I'm not good with numbers. I didn't do good with math when I was in school. I hear this from my coaching clients. I can't do this. This is hard, Diane. You like numbers, but I don't. And I say, yes, you can do numbers. I'm going to make it as fun and easy as we can. Because if you don't know those numbers, how can you have a profitable business? You have to know numbers.
Right. Knowing your numbers is really live or die.
It is.
For your business.
You can have profit just leaking out of your business because you don't know your numbers. And so by working with these groups of home service businesses, we're helping them learn how to know those numbers, and light bulbs are starting to come on, and we're getting some gotcha moments. And it's very rewarding from my side to help them understand how these numbers relate to Joe's job that they did last week, or Mary's job that they have to do tomorrow. They all have a correlation, and being able to make that correlation is super important for them.
I think a lot of the profit leaks we get fascinated by the new apps that are out there to help our business. or so I just signed on for one it was last month, and it was a pretty cool app. And it was, you take pictures and puts them all in place. It puts them, it geographs them, and you can put them wherever you want. But it was really good, and I gave myself 30 days to decide whether I really wanted it or not. And I would in a later scenario down the road, because I don't have enough business to warrant that expenditure so I canceled it. And the same thing with, I was doing what was I doing? What was the name? Yelp. I was doing Yelp ads. So I tried that for a month.
That goes back to the concept, are we doing things just in time or just in case? Finding an app like that becomes a just in case, because I at some point here, I'm going to have enough business to, to justify spending the money.
Right
versus
now,
just in time, I don't have it today.
Well, it's just takes steps away. So now I take the picture, send them to Google Drive, and load them from Google Drive into my website, and it takes me a few minutes, but I can live with that right now. It's better than $72 a month for not enough.
Right.
And so I did Yelp. I tried Yelp. I haven't really. I've gotten some jobs out of it, enough to pay for it, which is good. But I cut it in half.
Okay.
Because there's too many. Their system is not good enough to that I found, and probably some of it's me, on how to converse with the customer. It's this is what they need done, give them a price, so I cut that in half until I can learn it. At least I'll get something. But there again, and actually, my best is so far, because I started all over again. I didn't even let my old customers know I was in business. I just stuck because I wanted within 5 miles of where I live.
Okay.
So I sent out 1,700 postcards to certain income, the whole, all that. And then the people that responded out of that made my target smaller, which I thought was pretty interesting. So I went with people that lived in $600,000 houses or better, who drove nice cars, were professional, or had their own business, and they made at least $300,000 a year, and that was my target. Well, when it came back, those were the people that have responded to the postcards were that category, but they were retired in their 70s, 80s, and 90s, who wanted to keep their houses looking nice, but couldn't do it anymore.
Okay, that's a nice market to work in.
Yeah, it is.
So it bills constantly.
It is, and they're happy. They're happy when somebody shows up.
Yes. Yes.
And as long as you give them the value, they don't mind paying the price.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. So it's never about.
They don't have alternatives.
Well, no, because people come and they like the one lady I did something for her, and she goes, "You're the third person that's come." I said, "Really?" And she says, "You're the only one that gave us an estimate." Oh, okay. So yeah, the fear you have to grow out of your fear, and it is a growth process, and it's a step-by-step thing. You have to change your mindset. You have to change your thinking about who do I need to become the person that does business with people that make a lot more money than I do.
Yes. Constantly reaching up.
Yes, because you are not your average customer.
And when you're doing your marketing, you're not marketing to yourself, because you are not your customer. You're not your best customer.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And everybody says, "Well, my customers are complaining that my price is too high." Get another customer. Go after a different clientele.
Yes.
But everybody, but I don't care about your butts. Just do it. Just do it. And Okay, so who was it? I forget who the copywriter was, but he goes, "Is this a good idea or a bad idea?" I don't know. I'll give it a try. So it is. It's always about testing. It's always about not being satisfied. It's always, you have to, and I know that you've talked about this, you have to work on your business and not in your business. And when do you do that? You schedule time.
You schedule time, you're intentional about it, you stay hungry,
Yeah.
and you're constantly investing in yourself and in your team. Because
All
you
the
have to stay 10 steps ahead of that team and be the leader that they deserve to
Yeah.
have as their leader.
I remember when we were doing new construction in the painting business, I'd have my guys going, "Hey, do we have work next week?" And I go, "Next week? I'm working on 6 months from now. What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
But it goes back to the mindset of I need work, I need work, I need work. So and I've always done this. If I needed work and somebody called me, I'd always say, "Gee, I'm sorry, I'm booked out 2 weeks." I said, however, if somebody cancels, I'll put you at the top of the list. Is that fair? And they'll go, "Well, yeah, okay." So I go do the estimate, and 3 days later, I'd call and say, "Hey, I had someone cancel. You want me to come and do your job now?"
And they're thrilled.
They are thrilled. They feel like, "Oh, I got put to the top of the list."
That's a mindset shift right there.
It is. It is. And you know what? So I know that, um, the Lord has never let me down for 69 years. Why would he start now?
That's right. Yes, that's right.
It's all in his hands, and I take whatever comes, and I'm grateful. And a lot of times, the things I ask for are too small for what I get.
I think we're all guilty of that.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. And it's interesting to see. Oh, really? Okay, I'll take that. It's like my son-in-law. He's a commercial realtor, and so this year he's been he's been wanting to grow. So he's been praying for 3 new clients. He's does commercial property management. So he's praying for 3 clients. So he gets a phone call last month. Guy calls. He goes, "The guy's an asset manager, and he's been taking care of one of his clients' properties, but he didn't want to do it." So I called Ben. He's got 11 properties.
Wow.
I said, so much for your 3, huh? He goes, "I know. I know." I said, "Lord, this is what I want, but I'll take what you'll give me."
That's right.
Yeah.
And along with that comes another mindset shift. I'm open to receiving whatever comes my direction, and I'm not going to be afraid to step up and take it.
Oh, no. Yeah, no. There's and there are so many great books out there. There's so many. I mean, there's of course Jim's written a ton of great books, and but I love Jim Rohn.
Yes.
Of course, most people have forgotten about who he actually is, especially this generation. But if you want to learn a mindset shift, you want to learn about money, there's a guy in Tampa. His name is Myron Golden. And he talks about, he has a coaching business that he coaches specifically all on biblical principles. Whether you're a Christian or not, this is what you're going to get taught. Take it or leave it.
That's right, because principles are principles.
Principles are principles. He says, I learned that if I do this, I get this. If I do this, I get this throughout my whole life. He said, it's kind of crazy. When I was 16 years old, I started following, well, if you do this, this will happen. So he said, I started being nice to my brothers, and I couldn't believe the difference, it's just, and he goes, but he said, every problem, every situation can be solved in the Bible. And but he is really good. He talks about biblical principles for finance and making money, and why you deserve to make money.
Mhm.
That's the key too, because most people
Yes.
don't believe that they deserve to make money. Then why go into business?
Yeah. Another mindset shift.
Yeah,
We can
yeah,
say, yes, we do deserve to make money. We're not in business to lose money, because then we can't stay in business. We must
right.
make money, because when we make money, then we're able to employ more people. We're able
Yes,
to give our customers a much better experience, because we
absolutely.
can afford to have better trucks and better employees and better everything for them. We can make a difference in our corner of the world. Doesn't matter where you're located. If you're making a profit, you can make a difference.
Yeah,
And I think that's what it boils down to, is
and I
making
and
a
I
difference and being profitable.
and I think that you need to get past paying your people the minimum wage for that trade,
Correct. Yes. If you
whatever that
want
is.
good people, you've got to pay
So,
nicer wage.
have you heard of Bucky's? Bucky's is a huge. It's not really a truck stop; it's a people stop. It's a big gas station where they have like
Uh-huh.
50 or 60 pumps.
Wow.
Yeah, and you go in, and everything's Bucky's, but it's sort of like Stucky's in the old days, but it's Bucky's, and they have a beaver, and they have gobs and gobs of food and people, and by design, there's no sitting down. It's come, go, eat, and leave. They pay their custodians $50,000 a year
That's very nice. Yes.
because they know that in order to have good people to keep the place clean, they need to pay them,
Mhm.
and they're willing to do that. So
Right.
if you pay your people well, then you will make more money because they're representative of your company.
Yes. Well, Dave, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been great to catch up with you, and then also to talk about fear and mindset, and the effect that can have on bottom line profits. We all work so hard in our businesses, and we don't want to be working a business that has no profit in it and is not
Yeah.
going anywhere. So, Dave, you want to let people, our guests, know where they can make contact with you if they want to reach out and listen to some of your podcast episodes or any of that type of stuff?
Contractor Secret Weapon is still up. We kept it running. I think there's like 300 episodes that are available, and then there's another one that Pete Mitchell and I did, was Thriving Christian Business, which we stopped after 100 episodes, but that's still up and available. If anybody wants to go listen to those, they'll be. I know you're in Contractor Secret Weapon a couple of times.
Yes, I've been
Yeah,
over there.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
All
thanks for
right.
having me. This has been fun. It's been a while,
Yeah, you're
but
welcome. It's
like you
always
said,
good to
like falling off, getting back on after fall off the tricycle, right?
get you back in the world of being out in front of people again.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. I'm going to say this is a wrap for this episode of the Profitable Home Services podcast. Remember, it's not how much money you make, it's how much money you keep. Be sure to
Yes.
grab a free digital copy of my book, Your Path to Profits. You can see it right there behind my head. And in that book, I share 9 profit boosting tactics that will transform your service business. You can pick up your copy by going over to yourpathtoprofitbooks.com. And we'll see you on our next episode. Bye, everybody.